Most people think nuts are simple. Tiny snacks, healthy fats, nothing unusual. But one nut is naturally radioactive. One grows attached to a poisonous shell that can burn your skin. One helped build entire civilizations. And several of the foods we call nuts aren't actually nuts at all. Today we're breaking down the fascinating history, science, and secrets behind the world's most famous nuts. Cashews look harmless, smooth, creamy, expensive. But here's the thing. A truly raw cashew is something you almost never see. The cashew grows underneath a bright red fruit called the cashew apple. Between the shell and the edible kernel sits a caustic oil closely related to the irritants found in poison ivy. Before cashews reach supermarket shelves, processors must carefully remove and heat-treat the shell. That's why raw cashews sold in stores have already been processed. Taste-wise, cashews are unusually buttery, less crunchy than almonds, less earthy than walnuts, almost creamy. Native to Brazil, they spread across Africa and India through Portuguese trade routes in the 1500s. Today, India and Vietnam dominate production. But cashews are only strange because of their shell. The next nut is famous because it isn't actually a nut at all. Peanuts might be America's favorite nut, except they're not nuts, they're legumes. Botanically, peanuts are closer to beans and lentils than almonds or walnuts. What makes them even stranger is how they grow. After pollination, the flower stalk bends downward. It literally drills itself into the soil. The peanut develops underground. Almost no major crop grows this way. Ancient civilizations in South America cultivated peanuts thousands of years before European contact. Centuries later, they became one of the most important crops in the American South. Peanuts also contain more protein than most tree nuts, which explains why peanut butter became a staple food around the world. But if peanuts are protein kings, the next nut became famous for something completely different. Its shape fooled people for centuries. At first glance, a walnut looks ordinary. Crack it open, and something interesting appears. The kernel resembles a miniature human brain. 2 hemispheres, deep folds, a surprisingly similar shape. Ancient cultures noticed this long before modern science existed. Many believed walnuts were designed specifically to support brain health. The reasoning was wrong. The observation was surprisingly close. Walnuts contain plant-based omega-3 fats, rarely found in other nuts. Modern research continues investigating their potential role in cognitive health and heart function. Humans have been eating walnuts for thousands of years across Persia and Central Asia. Long before Rome, long before Europe, long before most modern agriculture. But walnuts aren't the oldest surprise on this list. The next one powers an entire global industry. Almonds dominate supermarket shelves. Almond milk, almond flour, almond butter, almond snacks. But here's what most people don't realize. Almonds are technically seeds, not nuts. They come from a fruit closely related to peaches and cherries. What you eat is actually the pit, the same part you'd normally throw away. Originating in the Middle East, almonds traveled west through trade routes connecting Asia, Europe, and North Africa. Today, California produces most of the world's almonds. An entire global market depends heavily on one region. Even more surprising, wild almonds were once toxic. Early farmers selectively bred safer varieties over generations. One wrong tree could have serious consequences. And speaking of dangerous surprises, the next nut is literally radioactive. Brazil nuts sound exotic. The reality is even stranger. They are among the few major foods harvested primarily from wild rainforest trees. Large-scale farming has never truly replaced nature. The reason is a tiny bee. Brazil nut trees rely on specialized rainforest pollinators that struggle to survive outside intact ecosystems. No bees, no nuts, no industry. The trees themselves can exceed 150 feet tall. Their fruit falls like cannonballs. Each pod contains multiple nuts packed inside like orange slices. And then there's the radioactivity. Brazil nuts absorb trace amounts of naturally occurring radium from deep underground. The levels are harmless, but sensitive detection equipment can actually measure it. A snack that occasionally triggers radiation sensors sounds like science fiction, but it's completely real. Yet the weirdest side effect belongs to another nut entirely. Pine nuts are tiny, expensive, and incredibly labor-intensive. Workers must harvest cones, dry them, crack them open, and extract individual seeds. That's one reason pesto costs what it does. But this is where things get interesting. Some people experience something called pine mouth. Several days after eating certain pine nuts, everything tastes metallic. Coffee, fruit, chocolate, everything. The sensation can last for days or even weeks. Scientists still don't fully understand why it happens. Imagine eating a salad and altering your taste buds for half a month. And yet pine nuts remain a culinary treasure from Italy to the American Southwest. The next nut built empires of chocolate. Hazelnuts helped create one of the most famous spreads on Earth, Nutella. During World War II, cocoa became scarce. An Italian pastry maker named Pietro Ferrero stretched limited chocolate supplies by blending them with locally available hazelnuts. What started as necessity became a global phenomenon. Today, most hazelnuts come from Turkey. A surprisingly small geographic area supports a huge portion of global demand. Hazelnuts bring rich roasted flavors, natural sweetness, and a texture that works equally well in desserts and savory dishes. But our final nut may be the most expensive for a reason. Macadamias are often called the luxury nut, and for good reason. Their shells are among the hardest found in any commercially sold nut. Cracking them requires tremendous pressure. The trees take years before producing their first harvest, and only a handful of species produce edible kernels. Originally native to Australia, macadamias later became closely associated with Hawaii. Their flavor is rich, creamy, almost buttery. Unlike any other nut, what most people don't realize is that the tree evolved to protect these seeds so effectively that very few animals can access them naturally. For millions of years, the nut was winning the battle. Then humans showed up with industrial nutcrackers,